Well, today, Russian President Vladimir Putin walked back his comments on nuclear war that stoked fears earlier this week. During a national security meeting, Putin said the West was spreading falsehoods about a Russian nuclear threat. This statement comes on the back of widespread reports that Putin threatened the use of nuclear weapons if the West continued to meddle in its war with Ukraine. And while Russian leaders met, the funeral service for opposition leader Alexei Navalny took place at the Church of the Icon of the Mother of God, Quench my sorrows, as thousands of supporters lined the street. We're joined now by Klain, Nonresident Fellow at the Atlantic Council's Eurasia Center. Doug, good to be with you again. A lot to discuss, but let's first begin with the funeral of Alexei Navalny, where, as mentioned, thousands of mourners paid their respects. However, apparently the Kremlin was silent and said it had nothing to say to Navalny's family regarding his death. I want to get your thoughts. And what do you think this signals that such a massive crowd gathered as Navalny was laid to rest?
Thanks for having me. Today at Alexei Navalny's funeral in Moscow, we saw thousands of Russians take to the streets. They chanted "No to war." They chanted "Down with Putin," and they remembered Alexei Navalny. This was perhaps the largest demonstration against the war since the early days of the full-scale invasion. This is also the kind of public recognition of Alexei Navalny, Putin's fiercest critic and challenger inside Russia. It's the kind of symbol of defiance that the Kremlin wanted to avoid. They did not want there to be a public spectacle of people showing their support for Navalny and implicitly and explicitly their defiance of Putin. But that's exactly what we saw today.
Doug, should the Kremlin be concerned about this?
Well, I think that this is, again, an important sign that, there are people in Russia that stand against Putin's war on Ukraine. There are people that stand against Putinism. Undoubtedly, the people that turned out today are those that chose to brave the risk of arrest, detention, and beatings by security forces. And undoubtedly, there are more who stayed home, intimidated by the Kremlin's threats of this. It's an important sign, I think, as well, that the Russian opposition does continue. It does not die with Alexei Navalny. His wife, Yulia, has vowed to take up the mantle and continue resistance to Putinism. The Kremlin may well have turned Navalny into a martyr, somebody who will stand as a symbol of resistance against Putin for years to come.
Doug, I wanted to talk about those comments that Putin made about nuclear weapons and war. Is this something that we should be concerned with? Should we take this seriously, even though Putin walked back the comments?
I don't think this is something that should be a serious cause for concern. Putin and Russian officials writ large know very well that nuclear sable-rattling, nuclear threats, they're things that are designed to cow Ukraine's friends from standing with the Ukrainian people. To the Russian point of view, it works. The threat of nuclear war has quite effectively deterred many Western leaders from giving full-throated support for Ukraine, for fear of escalation. Putin continues to draw red lines, saying, if you cross this line, I will do this. And each time those red lines have been crossed, Putin hasn't been able to back up his threats. He threatened that if Ukraine struck in Crimea, he would escalate somehow. Ukraine struck in Crimea, that didn't happen. He claimed that, after annexing more Ukrainian territory illegally, he would escalate again if the Ukrainians tried to take back that territory. They successfully liberated more of that territory, and Putin couldn't back up his threats. So time and time again, Putin has showed that these threats, more often than not, are bluster, designed to scare the West into, being too afraid to stand with the Ukrainian people. But thankfully, we have challenged that time and again.
Well, Doug, thank you for coming on and weighing in. Always appreciate your insights.
Thank you.